Hey everyone, this is Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology. Today we are going to take a little bit of time to talk about Venus coming off from a sextile to Jupiter. This is a transit that has already perfected. We have spent the first couple of days of this week talking about transits that are, in all honesty, probably a little bit more, I don't know, not important, but noticeable. And so I want to go back and talk about a transit that is still coming off from the 3-degree separation range in Venus's sextile to Jupiter and what we may have noticed from it over the past 3 or 4 days, as well as what might still be coming from it today and tomorrow. So that is our agenda for today. Before we get into it, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. We have a goal, which is to try to get this channel over the 70,000 subscriber mark in the next few months. I would love to reach that goal. One of the things that we've realized in doing some digging with the, kind of looking through the analytics is that a lot of people that visit this channel and watch it regularly do not subscribe. So if you are okay with it, we invite you to do that because it really helps us grow the business, grow the school, grow the channel. It supports us in everything we do to receive your subscription. So appreciate that. If you are open to that, we do appreciate it. And liking the videos obviously helps a lot as well. So anyway, on that note, let's see if we can't get this channel over the 70,000 subscriber mark in the next few months. I think that would be awesome. I have this kind of fantasy of getting it done by the fall equinox, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, transcripts of any of these daily talks can be found on the website, which is nightlightastrology.com. And I want to take you over there to point out some events that are coming up in the next few months, which I think you might enjoy. So if you open this screen, you will see under the events page, click on live talks, and you'll see the next 3 talks in my monthly webinars are posted on August 22nd. I'm doing a talk on the 8th house, the place of karmic debts. If you have any fear about this house or any curiosity about this house, this is a talk that is going to be, I think, really clarifying and helpful in terms of understanding the ancient historical significations and why we could talk about it broadly as a place of karmic debt. Then in September, I'm doing a talk on Venus's 12 love languages, looking at Venus through all 12 signs of the zodiac, really getting to know and understand how Venus likes love, depending on her placement in the zodiac. And then in October, I'm doing a talk called The Myth of Astrological Compatibility, what everybody gets wrong about astrological compatibility, or the astrology of relationships. That is a talk that I really hope people will enjoy. It is based on a lot of observation and experience over the years of what works and doesn't work in terms of astrological compatibility. So check those out on the website. You can buy or purchase any of the talks we've already done, there's a bunch of really good talks in there. Go to the shop page. You can check out some of our masterclass series, and you can join in to receive each chapter of the new book I'm writing one at a time. So there's some good stuff there for everyone. All right, on that note, let's turn our attention to the real-time clock and take a look at this transit. So one of the transits, kind of sneaky transit here, sextile between Venus and Jupiter, which is just coming off from its exact moment. If we go back just a touch, see that the 2 planets came together Sunday, July 21st, during the midst of that full moon conflagration. It was just like a ton of events all going off like fireworks at once. You had on Sunday, you had the full moon hitting and then immediately conjoining Pluto, the sun then moving into an opposition with Pluto, the sun trining Neptune, Mars trining Pluto, Mercury squaring Uranus, and then sneaky Venus sextiling Jupiter. Now, when the benefics get together in a trine or a sextile, it is usually a very auspicious type of connection because the 2 planets together are associated with everything that is conducive to life and growth, and is generally also associated with good fortune. What we mean by that are events and things and people that we generally find to be pleasant, subjectively speaking. That doesn't mean that they're good versus evil planets or anything like that. It's just describing the kinds of things that happen in this relative material world that we live in. And when we see these 2 planets separating within about 3 degrees, which is taking place all the way between now and tomorrow, they get to be about 5 degrees apart by Friday. So within that 3-degree range, it is as though the fruit is falling off the tree. And the tree and the fruit are the transit and the aspect perfecting within the two planets coming through that degree-based connection. So you think of that connection as a kind of tree that's fruiting and the fruit's falling off the tree karmically. So generally speaking, when the benefics get together in a sextile, that means that they are getting together in a configuration that is of the nature of Venus. Venus rules harmony. Venus rules flow, everything that is peaceful, easy, fortunate, pleasurable, enjoyable. All of the kind of good luck that happens, you know, randomly just feeling like this is a good day. Oh, things are kind of going my way a little bit. Now that, again, don't take that to mean that you're going to win the lottery. Just think of it as kind of like nice weather, right? So the nice, enjoyable astrological weather is not, I mean, there's a lot of transits all happening at the same time. Not all of them could be described as easy, but this one has a really nice kind of state of harmonization behind it. So on that note, let us now turn our attention to what Venus and Jupiter provides. Now, I have 5 things that I believe they provide, given the connection between Venus and Jupiter being harmonious, given that Venus is in Leo and Jupiter is in Gemini. And I want to place within this the fact that Mars is also trining Pluto from Gemini to Aquarius, another benefic aspect, a trine, which is of the nature of Jupiter, connecting Mars from Gemini to Pluto and Aquarius. So there's some of that in the background of this as well, since Jupiter shares space with Mars right now. So just keep that in mind. But these are in no particular order. I believe that when you get these two planets together from Gemini to Leo, that some of the qualities you may see in the air, a little less tangible perhaps, but you might note them as a mood or an atmosphere. Enthusiasm, belief, and loyalty. Where Jupiter in Gemini will often provide us with the material, the ideas, the thoughts, the structures, the systems, the plans, strategies, insights, visions, usually of an intellectual nature. When it's connecting with Venus and Leo, you'll find that there is a kind of like a radiant sense of enthusiasm in Theos, the God within. So this sense of the material that you're working with, which might be multifaceted with Jupiter in Gemini, that you find that there's a sudden sense of excitement or enthusiasm or even belief, or you're finding a sense of commitment, or I use the word loyalty, but it could also be just a sense of that. Yes, this is what I want to do, where clarifying what you want to commit to and what you believe or what you think or what option feels like the best option is a part of this transit that could be really nice. It's like just suddenly feeling really connected and enthusiastic, and like you've landed on a choice, or you've figured out what feels right. So just that kind of, it's not the longest transit in the world, but it's been coming through since this past weekend. As it comes through today and tomorrow, you may just feel a sense, like, listen to what feels right. What feels right may be connected to a sense of enthusiasm or radiance, or that solar feeling of lightness and confidence, that sense of, yes, this is what I'm identified with right now. Now, number 2 is Venus often shows up as people. And interestingly, fortunate people, people who you are attracted to or who are attracted to you. Connections and harmonization is the natural feature of Venus. Jupiter, interestingly enough, is also connected traditionally with auspicious people. It rejoiced in the 11th house, which was called the house of friends and allies. And so Jupiter and Venus together are also naturally connected with auspicious connections between people. So I say that because you may find during this transit, and maybe over the last couple of days, that the right people for the right ideas, beliefs, plans, commitments, options are appearing. There's a natural way, in other words, in which you may find yourself harmonizing or connecting with the right people for the right plans at this time. Or you may find a natural affinity or connection with a teacher or a group or a school or an organization or some colleagues, or just natural affinity between ideas, plans, strategies, and people or communities or allies, connections, things like that. You may also find just a natural sense of friendship and camaraderie intellectually, on the level of ideas and communication. There's just a natural kind of ability to really hear and let someone shine, and to be excited about who someone else is and their shine, and also for there to be a reciprocal dynamic where someone else says, yeah, like, let me turn my dimmer switch down a little bit so you can turn yours up. So the exchange of like being able to share the spotlight because of a commonality of ideas or beliefs or plans or approaches. It's like a little Venus in Leo is like a gathering of star power. And so I love that, where there can be like a kind of camaraderie of brightness. Number 3 is new leadership and new organizational strategies. So, one of the things that's pretty cool about Venus in Leo and Jupiter in Gemini is there's maybe a sense of leadership with Venus in Leo, but Venus is naturally very democratic and egalitarian. And Jupiter in Gemini is a planner and can work through a multi-pronged, multi-leveled strategy or approach or vision that's complex but coherent. So what I love about this is the idea that you can have both new structures or designs and new leadership, and yet none of it will feel too authoritarian or too heavy-handed. It will be considerate of many people and parts and things happening simultaneously, and yet some emerging sense of leadership or coherence or wholeness, connecting everything and tying it together so that it feels coherent and steady. That can come through because Venus in Leo grants that sense of harmony. And it's almost like, have you ever been in the presence of a leader who has the ability to lead while not feeling like they are dominating, like that they're hogging the spotlight or being domineering? It's an impressive ability. It's an impressive ability that a leader has. And I think I've had the good fortune of knowing some in my lifetime who are able to let other people shine, bring out the best in others, kind of orchestrate things in a holistic way. And yet you can tell they're doing it, but there's a humility, there's a pride, there's a sense of serving something larger than themselves, which is the whole. And that kind of democratic, and I'm talking now not about politics, but just, as an ideal, a kind of a democratically inspired leadership, something like that. Even on the level of, doesn't necessarily need to be a person, but just in the sense of bringing out the talents and abilities of multiple people or something like that. So anyway, I love this energy overall for that reason. Number 4 is something gaining momentum behind the scenes about to emerge or appear. Don't forget that this connection between Venus and Jupiter is happening just prior to Venus's emergence as the evening star. So all of these connections that we're talking about can also carry this meaning of something that is developing and building momentum. And it's like everyone getting dressed backstage before everyone takes their place on stage and the curtain opens. Or there's a feeling of things conspiring to bring forth a new plan or a new vision or a new appearance or a new aesthetic or a new organizational strategy that's also aesthetically pleasing, or it's a reworking of creative identity. Anything like that that's kind of behind the scenes and about to emerge in, say, the next 3-4 weeks. You could see this as a time where that emergence is starting to like congeal. Okay. Number 5, multiple people, options, ideas, plans, a multi-pronged approach. I've said this already a few times, but let me just reiterate that when Venus in Leo wants to bring something forth as she's emerging as the evening star, remember, she was the ruler of the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, the Mars-Uranus conjunction, so many things. She's bringing forth a revolution. Remember, not long after she appears, she squares Uranus. This connection with Jupiter in Gemini suggests that what she is bringing forth is multidimensional. That even though Venus in Leo is sort of like, look at me, it's look at me, but look at this. Look at this whole thing that I'm a part of, or that I'm helping to bring forth, or that I'm identifying myself with something that is more elaborately constructed. And so I really think of this as like a new aesthetic, a new design, a new style, a new way of doing things that is starting to go from the planning phase into the emergence. And it may involve the multiplicities of Jupiter and Gemini, multiple people, multiple ideas, plans, a multi-pronged approach, a multi-level approach, a kind of elaborate working of many things together, which also represents some kind of holistic sense of identity transformation that Venus is trying to embody. Now, I could see this as a kind of changing of the guard. What by that I mean is like a new way of presenting oneself that is not just about me, but that is backed by some kind of strategy or some kind of shifting of structures or systems or approaches. So, for example, when I see clients go through major transformations in their personal life, it will be accompanied by systematic changes in health and relationships, at work and parenting. There will be new things utilized for the sake of like buttressing or supporting some kind of identity transformation. In order for this identity transformation to take place, I also need to shift my strategy in all of these other areas. I think of this identity shift also as intimately tied to things like happiness, pleasure, Venusian things, as well as relationships. Relationships, how they change, how they honor our individuality or not, right? But how they honor our individuality will require that there be this multi-pronged approach so that the relationship change can be complete. Those are all things that come to my mind, but some of them may hit for you more than others in this list or, as I've gone along. That is what I have for today for your consideration. I hope that this was useful. We have some really interesting transits coming up. Sorry, I'm just trying to look at someone's mowing their lawn across the yard and it's like really distracting me. Okay, so let's see here. One of the things that I'm really excited for will be our astrological overview for August, as well as horoscopes. Now, those are going to come next week, but some of the things that are happening as the month ends here, we went over Venus's appearance as the evening star. We're coming up to a Mercury retrograde, where the Venus square to Uranus, eventually the Sun square to Uranus. Mercury will retrograde back into a square with Uranus. So there's a lot more Uranian activity in the next couple of weeks than than a lot of people may be anticipating, especially coming off from the Mars-Uranus conjunction, which was a flashpoint for 2024 so far. Anyhow, so lots more to come is the gist of it. And I hope you're having a good day and that this was useful for you. Watch for these things. If you've got any stories, thoughts, insights, share them with us. Help us get to 70,000 subscribers is kind of a goal we're trying to hit. And we're going to see how quickly we can do it. And what it really boils down to is people who listen who don't subscribe. There's a ton of you who listen regularly, but don't subscribe. And we ask if you're okay with it, please subscribe. It helps us. All right, that's it. Have a good one. Bye.